All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a way to completely transform your engineering team, to take all that chaotic energy and channel it into pure high-performance flow. We're not just going to manage a team, we're going to design it. How? By building what we'll call a team operating system. So let me ask you this, and be honest. Does your team, as brilliant as they are, just seem to spin their wheels sometimes? Getting stuck in endless debates about how to triage a simple bug, or who gets the final say on a new design. All that brain power that should be going into building amazing things is just evaporating while you figure out how to work.
Well, there's a name for that energy drain. It's called cognitive load. And it's basically all the mental heavy lifting your team does that has nothing to do with writing code. Every single time someone has to hunt for documentation or you have to rehash a decision you made last quarter, that's cognitive load. And it is the silent killer of your team's productivity.
So what do we do about it? The first step is to see the enemy. We're going to call it invisible friction. It's this collection of tiny, seemingly harmless obstacles that, when they add up, can grind your team to a complete halt. And here are some perfect examples of what that friction actually looks like in the real world. You've got unclear decision-making, role ambiguity, where nobody's quite sure who owns what, hunting for that one critical piece of documentation. You see, each one of these is like a tiny paper cut. On its own, it's just an annoyance, but you get enough of them and they can seriously wound your team's momentum. Okay, so if the problem is all this invisible friction, what's the antidote? Simple. You design a system that's built from the ground up to eliminate it. It's time to engineer your team's operating system. So what is an engineering team OS? It's a system you design on purpose. It's not just some random collection of processes that happen by accident. It is a single, documented source of truth that lays out everything. Your principles, your tools, your rituals, and it makes all the stuff that's usually unspoken and implicit totally explicit. And this quote from Linus Torvalds, it just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. A great computer OS is invisible. It just works, right? It lets all the applications run smoothly without getting in the way. Well, your team's OS should do the exact same thing. It's the invisible framework that fades into the background, creating an environment where amazing engineering work can just happen. It creates flow. So what holds this whole system together? A great OS is built on 4 really solid, interconnected pillars. Think of these as the load-bearing walls for your high-performing team. First up, and you could argue it's the most important, is clarity. This boils down to one simple, powerful rule. Write it down. As soon as how we work is documented, you crush the cognitive load that comes from ambiguity. It builds so much confidence because it becomes the single source of truth anyone can look at when they're not sure what to do next. Next, we have alignment. This is all about making sure everyone is rowing in the same direction. You've probably heard of Spotify's famous model of loosely coupled but tightly aligned teams. Well, the OS is the thing that creates that tight alignment on the big picture, so individual teams can move fast without drifting apart. And that strong alignment is what unlocks our third pillar, autonomy. Now, this is not chaos. It's the opposite. It is freedom within a framework. When the team is aligned and they have clear guardrails, you can empower them to make decisions quickly, right where the work is happening, without having to ask for permission for every little thing. That's how you build a real sense of ownership. And finally, we have accountability. This is the pillar that really ties it all together. It creates shared ownership for the results. We're not just celebrating shipping features, that's just output. We are holding ourselves accountable for actually moving the needle on what matters. That's the outcome. And a clear OS makes this possible by giving you objective metrics and fostering a culture where everyone holds each other to a high standard. Okay, so we've got the why, those 4 pillars that hold the entire system up. Now let's shift gears and get into the what. What are the actual tangible components you need to build out your team's OS? I mean, just look at the difference here. The transformation is night and day. You go from this implicit, ambiguous, reactive state, which is just full of friction, to an environment that is explicit, clear, and deliberate. It's a move from high friction to high flow. So this isn't some small tweak. It's a fundamental shift in how your team works. And here's a blueprint for what that actually looks like. You'd start with your structure and roles, defining things like team topologies, so it's crystal clear how teams interact and who's responsible for what. Then you'd establish your team's rituals and rhythms. This is the heartbeat of your team, things like blameless post-mortems and design reviews. After that, you codify your processes and workflows for critical stuff like incident response. And finally, you nail down your metrics and measurement. How will you actually know if you're succeeding? This could be using industry standards like DORA metrics or even just tracking team sentiment. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. The best tech companies in the world live and breathe this stuff. Netflix's legendary freedom and responsibility culture, that's their OS. It's what enables that high-trust environment. Spotify's model of squads and tribes, that's an OS built for super-fast, independent innovation. And Google's whole system of dual leadership between engineering managers and tech leads, a core part of their OS. They all deliberately engineered how they work. Okay, I know this can sound like a massive project, but it absolutely does not have to be. Let's break down how you can actually get started on this tomorrow without feeling overwhelmed. Here's the secret. Don't try to boil the ocean. You don't have to define everything all at once. The goal here is to build a minimum viable OS, or an MVOS. Just start with the one thing that's causing the most pain and will make the biggest difference right now. And here's a simple 3-step recipe. First, get the team in a room and agree on a vision. How do you want to work together? Second, identify your single biggest pain point. Is it how you make decisions, your on-call rotation? Just pick one. And finally, design and document version 1.0 of a new process for just that one thing. That's it. You've started. And please remember, this OS is not meant to be carved into a stone tablet. It's a living, breathing system. You need to use your regular retrospectives as a built-in feedback loop. Keep asking, is this process still working for us? Is it actually making things easier? And then you evolve the system over time, together as a team. So I want to leave you with this one question. Don't think about building the whole grand system right now. Just think about the very next step. What is the one process, the one source of friction that you could clarify for your team tomorrow to make their lives just a little bit better? Start right there.